Hello students, you're welcome to another class in your Certificate in Natural Skincare Formulation. I am your tutor, Sarah Adebola, and today we're going to be talking about tools needed in your formulation lab, the tools you need for formulation. So sit back and relax, and we're going to begin in a short while. So today we're going to be discussing the types of tools you need in your formulation lab. I mean, what's formulation if you don't first know the kind of tools you need? Yes, we have two classifications of tools needed in your formulation lab. We have the personal protective equipment and we have the production equipment. The personal protective equipment, PPE, are those equipment that you're going to need, to protect yourself from, irritation, because some of these chemicals we work with, some of these botanicals we work with can actually irritate the skin when they come directly in contact with the skin. So they need some things, maybe like oils, they need to be mixed with maybe surfactants or polymers or emulsifiers before they are being able to be absorbed in the skin without irritation. So if you just go ahead and allow these things to keep touching your skin, it's going to damage your skin, your own personal skin. And apart from that, you could be formulating and things just splash everywhere. You have to make sure that you're actually protecting yourself from such unnecessary splashes because, like I said, it's going to damage your skin. In the kitchen, we all know that you need your apron, you need your oven mitts for when you want to bring out things from the oven, and you need other protective equipment that you need to at least protect yourself from the dangers that you might come across in cooking. So it's the same for formulation. Like I usually do tell most of my students, formulation is similar to cooking. So if you want to formulate, you have to make sure that you have your personal protective equipment. So let me go ahead and list out those personal protective equipment to you. You're going to need your protective goggles. Protective goggles are, let me give you an example. This is a protective goggle. Can you see this? You're going to need this in your formulation lab. This is exactly how it looks. Now, you need these protective goggles because sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, when you're busy mixing, let's say you're using your whisk or you're using your stick blender, mixer or whatever, sometimes these things splash. And when it splashes, it could go straight into your eyes. Sometimes it could be that you're mixing with your stirring rod or with your spoon and it just splashes. It has happened to me like twice. I was going to even tell you, when I started formulation many years ago, I used to ignore all this personal protective equipment. I only invested in buying my production equipment because I had very little amount to start with. So I was like, let me pick my poison and just buy the ones that are very necessary at the moment, which I thought my own personal protective equipment were not necessary. I thought I would be careful. And then I ended up with some eye issues that I had to use, a lot of treatments and all that because I was working with glycolic acid and it splashed in my eye. The first time I thought it was normal. I just used water and the second time it happened and then it became a huge problem. So you have to make sure that you have your personal protective equipment. Apart from that, I've had a lot of hand issues. In fact, you can see some burns because I refused to use my gloves. So I've ended up with burns on my hands and, it's clearing off, but it's not fully cleared, as you can see. So I have burns on my skin because I did not take it serious that I needed my personal protective equipment. So to avoid that in your skincare formulation journey, you have to make sure that you're getting your personal protective equipment as well as your production equipment. So yeah, protective goggles, you need protective goggles. And of course, you need your gloves. Yes, you need your gloves available in different colors. Make sure that you just buy a pack like this because you're going to need it a lot. And I don't advise that you use a glove twice. Some people will go and be saving gloves. No. That's bad practice. If you want to observe good manufacturing practice, GMP, you have to make sure that you have a pack of gloves. It's called disposable gloves, for crying out loud. So dispose it when you're done. Don't save your gloves for later. Yes, we also need hair nets. Hair nets, it comes like this. You can buy a full pack. It comes like this. Let me show you. You see, I'm sure you must have noticed it, that people in restaurants wear this. Now, if I wasn't wearing this wig, or if I was about to formulate now, I would actually probably remove this wig and then wear this. Reason is you don't want hair in your formulation. If you buy a cream, if you buy a lotion from a good skincare manufacturer and you notice hair inside, I'm very sure that you would not even want to patronize them again, because you'll be like, what is this? This is not good manufacturing practice. So to avoid hair dropping into your formulation, it's best for you to use your hairnet. Some people say it's best you pack your hair into a ponytail, but then I do not advise that. I advise you to just cover your hair completely, because you cannot tell when your hair will break off and fall into the formulation, and you might not even see it until it reaches your end consumer. So please try as much as possible to get this pack of hair nets, and it's also disposable. You won't need to reuse it. And even if you're going to reuse it, do not reuse it more than once. Please, because it gets torn easily. So why should you keep reusing something and then it's torn and then your hair still falls into the formulation? And then I don't think wigs should be allowed, except you can pack your wigs sufficiently into the hairnet. If you know your wig is styled a certain way, or let's say you don't want the style to crinkle, you just remove it. We are not here for a fashion show. This is formulation and you're in the lab. Nobody's looking at you. Just remove it and make sure that your hairnet is covering your hair properly. And if you know that maybe you fixed a frontal or something, please find a way to pack it inside bonnet and then still put your hairnet on top. Yeah. And then you're going to need a pack of nose masks. Nose masks are very important because you're going to be working with some things that you don't want to inhale. Trust me. Like I said, I did not invest in personal protective equipment at all. So I ended up with some throat issues. Oh my God. It was also very horrible. I had breathing problems. I had throat issues because I was working with all of these things, and I was busy exposing myself to these substances, and they were just flying in through my airways, and I would always end up with cough, catarrh, serious phlegm in my throat. Apart from the serious phlegm in my throat, I ended up with serious breathing problems, chest problems. The money I spent taking care of myself, I could have just bought this and saved myself the pain and the extra money that was spent. So please try as much as possible to invest in your personal protective equipment. And yes, you're going to need a respirator. I've not really gotten around to using this because I've not worked with SCI in a while. The old one is spoiled, so I just got this. So this is what we call a respirator, as you can see. So you need a respirator. Why do you need a respirator? Sometimes we're working with some powders, botanical extracts that are very, very airborne. I'm talking about fine powders that are super duper fine. When I'm talking about super fine powders that can easily get airborne, and you won't see it that it has gotten airborne. The moment you open the pack and you try to scoop it out, it has already flown all over the place. And these things can actually irritate your airways pretty bad. So please try and get your respirator. This will save you a lot of health problems, because formulation is sweet, it's fun and games, but then it also has its own dangers. So please try as much as possible to purchase all of this personal protective equipment. And you're also going to be needing a scrub. I don't know if you can see. I'll send a picture of what I'm wearing right now. This is a scrub, and you can also get your lab coat. Even despite the scrub, you should put on your lab coat while working, and let your lab coat reach here. And then from where it stops, let your gloves cover. You need overall to protect yourself, because like I said, it's not going to be very funny when you start developing health issues just because you want to start a business. So please try as much as possible to get your lab coat. Hold on, let me show you. Here is my lab coat, and I have it hung here permanently, except I need to wash it, then I take it out. But it is hung here permanently. And you also need your apron. Yes, if you know that maybe you've not been able to get your lab coat yet, please get an apron immediately. a scrub, yes, then you put your apron on top of it, because even despite the fact that you're wearing a scrub, which shows that you're a professional, you still need to like protect yourself from, like I said, splashes. And apart from the fact that you're going to be formulating, you're going to be washing too. Yes, you wash beakers, you wash things. So you need your apron just the way you need it in the kitchen when you're washing. And you also need your shoes. Yes. You need shoes, and the kind of shoes I'm talking about Crocs, and not the popular type of Crocs. I'm going to show you in a minute the kind of Crocs I'm wearing. I'm going to show you my full feet right now so that you can purchase Crocs that will cover your legs. Like I said, things can actually go wrong in the lab. I have been in the lab and the formulation I was making, I don't know, for some reason, it just poured off the table. And the moment my hand mistakenly switched it off the table, apart from the fact that I lost my beaker, yes, very sad, I lost all of the formulation. It poured on the floor. And then, just imagine I was not wearing the right shoes. I would have actually damaged my feet, because it could have just poured directly on my skin, and it was not ready for usage yet. It's not ready for skin absorption yet. It was still in the phase where I still need to dissolve the natural ingredients and then mix them. So I haven't gotten to that phase where I know that this thing will not harm my skin, and then it just went directly on my legs. Thank God I was wearing my scrub trouser is very long, which is very important. And then where the scrub trouser stops is where my shoe covers to. So it saved me a lot of problems that day. So please try as much as possible to make sure that whatever it is you're going to be wearing in your lab, your skin is protected and it's not affecting your skin. If it's affecting your skin, then you won't be glowing now. I mean, imagine having some sort of skin issues and then clients are coming to you to tackle those same issues. It's going to look somehow. Your skin needs to pop as much as you're helping others. People don't understand that we're humans too. They expect us to be perfect. So you have to make sure that while you're formulating in the lab, you don't risk your own skin getting damaged just so that you can, make maximum profits. Do you understand what I'm saying? And once you buy all these things, you can easily use it to calculate your overhead. I mean, you can add it to the prices of your products. And you don't have to buy these things every day. Like I said, the respirator I've been using for 4 years now, I just got a new one. And this, once you buy a pack, it doesn't finish on time. The hairnet, once you buy a pack, it doesn't finish on time. Your gloves, you use it 50 times. When you buy this, you use it 50 times because it's 100 and it's 100 pieces. You're going to use for your 2 hands, and that's 50 times you're going to use this. So why not just buy these things? I mean, they are so affordable. This one, I've been using it now for the past 3 years. And I've not changed it once. Scrub, you wear and wear and wear. It's your outfit, you wear, So these things are not things that you need to buy every single day. So make sure that you buy them and you stock up, because your personal protective equipment is very, very important. All right. Now let's move to production equipment. To start with, in production equipment, I'll say you need disposable napkins like this. As you can see, these are deluxe napkins, is disposable, and it's pretty thick. It is not like your normal serviette. This is pretty thick. It can clean up thick liquids. Can you see? It looks like a cloth, but then it's a napkin. Can you see? So try to get disposable napkins that you're using to wipe your tabletops. Apart from that, you also need some rags. Now those rags, please, I don't really advise it for people who are lazy. If you're lazy, stay away from rags. If you know that you're the type that is very, very hardworking and you want to maintain your good manufacturing practice, please try as much as possible to use those rags. Once you're done with them, bleach it. Wash and bleach. Yes, I said bleach. Because you need to get rid of all of the dangerous bacteria that would lurk in it. Washing is not enough, because most washing liquid soap for washing or detergents are not antibacterial, and you need to get rid of the bacteria that will be lurking in the cloth, because once you use it to clean tabletops like that, there's no how bacteria will lurk inside. So please try as much as possible to bleach it after you've washed. Wash and bleach. wash and bleach your cloth napkins. And then for when you're dealing with the products directly, get your disposable napkins. It's not really expensive, so it's best for you to get this. Next, you're going to be needing your mixers. You cannot formulate without mixers. So I'm going to advise you get both because they have different functions. A mixer, we all know mixers from making cake. A mixer has some effects that a stick blender does not have. A stick blender works exactly like a blender. It will blend it into fine stuff. So you will see the different uses in the course of your formulation course, but please get the two. Get the two. Yes, I always advise, but if you know that you cannot afford a stick blender, because stick blenders tend to be expensive, get this first. But please, you still need your stick blender because your stick blender, your mixer will not do everything that a stick blender is supposed to do, and the stick blender will not do everything that a mixer is supposed to do. So please try to get both. Next, you're going to need 70% isopropyl alcohol. Now, for those in the physical class, don't worry. I'm going to show you where to get your isopropyl alcohol from. It's called IPA. I'll show you where to get it from. And all you just have to do is, just like you're formulating your products, you just take out 70 ml, 70%. Let's say you're mixing 100 ml. You take out 70 ml and 30 ml water. 70 ml IPA and 30 ml water, and you mix. Now, if you're maybe mixing more than that, all you just have to do is do the math. Don't worry, I'm going to teach you how to convert percentages to grams in the course of this lesson, and you just convert it to whatever amount. I think this is about a 600 ml. So I just converted it, added my distilled water please, and then you spray. The reason why we don't use the IPA directly is because when you use 99% or 100% IPA, it will dry before it is able to even sanitize the area. It will just dry off. So you need it to be 70% so that the water will be able to make it stay longer on the surface, and the IPA will be able to still do the work of sanitizing. I hope you understand. Then you need it in a spray bottle like this because you obviously need to spray. So you need to spray all your equipment, all your beakers, all your mixers, all your spoons, all your stirring rods, everything, you're going to need to spray them. I'm going to put another video that explains some other tools that you're going to be needing in your formulation lab, because I've already made that video, but I needed to update it with some more new information, and that's why I'm making this one. So I'm still going to link you to that video so that you can see other things that you need. I'm going to also mention some of these things in your video, how to set up your mini formulation lab. Actually, we moved from the mini formulation lab to the bigger one, so you can, if you have a spare room in your house that has a sink, yes, it is best for you to do that. But if you know you don't, you can just use a corner in your room or in your kitchen so that you can easily use the kitchen sink. And if you're formulating your room, just when you're done, pack all your things to the kitchen sink and wash and sterilize the ones you need to sterilize and all that. Also going to need your beakers. Now, this is a heat-resistant beaker, borosilicate glass. This is a heat-resistant plastic cup. Now, I do use both, but when I'm working with heat, I like using this. But when I notice that some of these things end up breaking, I'd rather you get the tempered glass one, which is very, very expensive. But to start with, just get this. But they break. So be prepared. Be very careful, because they do break. That's why I got this, so that I can use this too. But then I don't like using it so much when I'm dealing with heat, because we all know what plastic does. And I don't want plastic chemicals to enter into my product. So I don't really use this when I'm working with heat. I use this when I'm working with maybe shower gel formulations that don't need heat, other cold process formulations. But this I use when I'm dealing with heat. Then you're going to also need your whisks. You need your whisk. This is a tiny whisk. This is a big whisk. You're going to need your whisks because it's not everything that you'll be using mixer for. When you use a mixer all the time, sometimes you end up with bubbles. But this, especially when you're working with products that don't really need so much mixing, this would do the job. Apart from that, when there's no light, what do? And most of the rechargeable mixers we have, they are not really heavy duty. They can't do much work. So this, you need them because you're going to put your hands to use. Then you need a horn spoon. A horn spoon is for when you're, scooping out your ingredients into your Petri dish. This is a Petri dish. For context, this is a Petri dish. When you're measuring your powders, the powders you're going to use, you need a Petri dish. And then you need this. You need this. So get at least 2 so that even if one is soiled, you don't need to be rushing to wash it. At least, I think one of these costs 2,500 naira now in 2025. It costs around 2,500 naira each. So try to get this. And try to get a Petri dish. And I'm going to be giving you a supplier list, so don't worry about that. You are going to find out where to get your equipment from. Now you're going to need spatulas. You need a small spatula, you need a big spatula. Small spatula for when you're making sample, because I always say when you want to formulate, you please start with a small sample. So even if you've created a formula and you want to try it, don't just go and say, this formula, then you try. No, you need a sample batch that you're going to use to test, the formulation and see if it's working. And then you're going to need to do the stability test, all of that, which we're going to cover throughout this course. So you need your small spatula like this to make your samples, and you need your big spatula to make your big formulations. I would also advise you get small cups like this. These are measuring cups. I use the small cups when I'm measuring things like my essential oils, like my Germal Plus preservative, my vitamin E oil, things that we know that we use in just like 0.5 to 0.1 to, just small things. You need this because you're not going to be wasting all of your beakers to be measuring all the small things. So get disposable small cups like this. You're also going to need pipettes. Pipettes are very important for when you're scooping out very small things. I mean, when you're trying to pour out maybe your distilled water, your ingredients, your liquid ingredients, and then you notice that it's about to reach the required gram on your scale, then you just have to make sure that you're using this so that you don't pour in so much. Because if you're pouring directly into the formulation, you're going to end up adding too much and there's nothing you can do about it. You spoil the ingredients, you spoil the product. So you need your pipettes to make sure that you're controlling the amount of things that you're pouring into your formulation. You're also going to need your syringe. This is a single-use syringe, so get as many as possible. For when you're filling small pink leaf tubes, you need this. Yes, you really do need it. You're also going to need small funnels. This funnel is actually disposable. So try to get a pack as well. You're going to need disposable funnels for when you're filling small bottles that their mouths are not too wide. And this is only for liquid formulations. Let's say you're formulating a cleanser, facial toner, anything liquid formulation or oil, you can use this. That is if you've not gotten your filling machine yet. And I'm talking to people who are just starting. I'm not talking to people who are manufacturing, obviously. So since you're here learning, you're going to need this first before you go on to start buying big production equipment. You're going to need this. And sometimes I'll also advise that you get a piping bag or get a pack of nylons. A pack of clean nylons, please, and make sure you're keeping them in a clean space, because when you're done formulating, you're going to need it to fill in your lotions. Yes, that's for beginners. But if you've grown to the point, or you want to start big, some people like to start big. So if you're the type that likes to start big, then please get your big filling machine, your manual filling machine. The picture is here. Get that. Or if you want to start small, just get this and get nylons. This is how I started. So get this, and there's this for liquid formulations and when you're filling small bottles, and this for when you're filling lotions and scrubs and all that. You're also going to need pH strips. Yes, pH strips. This is how this looks. There are some very fancy ones. You can get those fancy ones, but this is very affordable and okay. In fact, I use this most times and I use this. You're going to also need your pH meter. Yes, because you cannot be formulating and not measure the pH of your product. Bang. It is not allowed. Because when you're working with water, you have to make sure that the pH is okay and skin friendly. You cannot formulate a product that's supposed to be in a certain pH, because those ingredients also have the pH in which they are stable in. If you're working with an ingredient that is stable in a pH of about 4 to 5, and you formulated a product and it ended up being an alkaline product, don't worry, we're going to talk more about pH in another class. But if it ended up being an alkaline product of about 8 or 9, sure, you know that your active ingredients, it will not work like that, because it is only stable in a pH of 4 to 5. And if you also want to add your preservative, you have to know the pH, because some preservatives don't work in some certain pH. Though we have preservatives that are, general, that can work in different pHs, but that's very, very rare to come by. So if you're working with a skincare formulation that has water, any skincare formulation that has water, you need this. So you need to get this or this. But for a start, I would say you should get this. Please get this before your next class. All right. One of the most important things you need in your formulation lab is your scales. Yes, you're going to need a precision scale like this. The old one just you'll see the old one in some of the videos, it got spoiled, so this is a new one. You're going to need it. The capacity of this is 0.1 gram to 3,000 grams. So you cannot measure more than 3,000 grams on this scale. So once it's more than 3,000 grams, it will go blank. The other one I was using was 500 grams. That's what I started with. It was 0.01, which I loved about it because it was even more precise than this, and it was up to 500 grams. But when you're getting 0.01, most times they don't measure more than 500 grams, 1,000 grams, like the highest. So that means you still need to get big ones. So I would say just get this 0.1 gram to 3,000 grams, and please handle your scales as carefully as possible. Please handle your scales with care. Handle them like your babies. Don't just be throwing your scales somewhere or be putting heavy things on your scale when they're not in use. This is a bigger scale that measures up to 10,000 grams for when I'm making big batches, but the smallest measurement is 1 gram. So it is not as precise as this. So most times in my formulations, I use both. Even when I'm working with big batches. Reason is this one is for precision. This one is for precision, for me getting the accurate, 0.1 decimal. And this one is just when, let's say I'm measuring like my water and I have to use 5,638.2 grams. So I'll use this to measure the 5,638 grams. Then I'll use this to measure 0.2 grams. So I'm making sure that I'm using the accurate amount of water. Don't just say 5,632, then you do 5,633. No. This is why it is good for you to have a precision scale so that you can be precise in your formulations. It just helps to make your formulations easier, and it makes sure that you're consistent. Today, you're not making cream that is watery. Tomorrow, you are making cream that is thick. Because my scale is buy both. You need both. This one is way cheaper. This one is way more expensive because of the precision. But please try to get both. It is important. Other things you're going to be needing include your strainer. This is lip tube filler for lipsticks and lip balms, lip moisturizers. You will need this. You will need your strainer, and you will need cling film. It's a bit far from where I am right now, and I'm feeling too lazy to pick it out, but I'll put a picture here. Cling film and aluminium foil. You need both. Yes. Because sometimes when you are dealing with heat, there's something we call water loss in formulations. And if you're not careful, you're going to lose the water, because water evaporates. Liquid evaporates when you put it, especially water, when you heat it up. So if you're trying to dissolve maybe one of your actives with water, or you're trying to just bring your water to a certain temperature and you heat it up, if you're not careful, you will lose some of that water. So to prevent that, to reduce that, because it doesn't totally prevent, but it reduces it, you need your aluminium foil. Now for the cling film, you're going to need your cling film when you are leaving products overnight. Yes, sometimes you need to leave products overnight, like when you're working with some actives that need time to swell up and to change their form and texture. So you need your cling film. Alright, so that's about that. Like I said, I'm going to link another video that you can also watch to make sure that you're as detailed as possible. And all the things you've learned in this class, please try as much as possible to write them down. Yes, you cannot be a student without your pen and paper, without your notebook. So please get a very good notebook that has a hardcover and make sure that everything you're learning from this classes, you're writing them down. Because of course you're going to have access to these videos, but do you always want to come back and rush and watch video when you can easily just go to your notebooks? And I always advise that formulators should have a formulator's diary. Yes, you need your formulator's diary. You need two, actually. You need one for your training lessons and to write all the tips you've learned from your training. And then you need another one where you're going to be writing out the formulations you've created and the formulations you want to work with. I'm going to be giving you formulas, yes, but then I also want you to become a formulator yourself, because you're not a formulator if I'm just giving you formulas and then you're copying it and recreating your own products. No, you become a formulator when you begin to formulate and create your own formulas. Do you understand? So I want to help you reach that stage where you become a formulator yourself, where you can sit down and say, I want to tackle dark spots. So how do I go about it? And then you just pick out ingredients that you've learned about, and then you begin to formulate. Now in this course, you're going to be getting ingredients directories, but then you're going to have an assignment, a very important assignment. I'm going to list out tons of ingredients for you, and I'm going to list out the things to look out for. You're going to research it. Let Google be your best friend in this time. If you have a laptop, good for you. If you don't, please use your phone, okay, to make this research possible, because you're not a formulator if you're not researching. Now, I want to teach you how to research. I'm going to give you a long list of ingredients to research. Of course, some of them are in your ingredients directory, ebooks, so you can easily go and steal it from there. But then the rest are not. So I want you to go ahead and Google this ingredient, research this ingredient, research this. I'm going to give you the things to research about them to make it easier for you, so that when you're learning about a new ingredient or you just come across a new supplier online by yourself in the coming years in your formulation journey, you're just going to know what to search for about that particular ingredient before you start to work with it, okay? So I'm going to give you those things to search for. Go ahead, search for them, write them in your notes, and you're going to be submitting it. For those in the physical class, in the one-on-one class, you're going to be submitting it on the day one you're resuming for your physical one-on-one class. You have to come along with it. It is a very, very big deal. It shows that you've actually learned a lot, and it shows that you're actually willing to grow. Now, for those on the normal online class, before I advance you to the advanced 4 weeks intensive advanced class, you will need to provide those documents. And how do you do it? You're going to take a picture of everything, and then you're going to send it to my DM. I need to see the complete list of those ingredients and all the things you researched about them. You need to write them in your book. So that's why I said you should get 2 notes. One for your training tips from this training, and then the second one for that exercise, and you're going to still use it in the future. Now you're also going to be needing a 3rd formulator's diary book. This will be for all the formulations that you've created by yourself. You're going to write down the formula. You're going to write out how it behaves, the pH, when you were done formulating, the pH. Then you're going to write down your observations. Was it stable? Was it unstable? Was the color okay? Was the texture okay? You write the texture, you write the color, you write, okay, maybe after 2 days the color changed. You're going to write everything. That's why I said it's a diary. So that will be what you'll be writing in your 3rd book. So get ready your 3 hardcover books, because this is a diploma course. And yes, you're going to need 3 hardcover books. So please get those, and in your next class, we're going to be talking about even more interesting things in the skincare formulation world. I'm still your tutor, Sarah Adebola, and see you in your next class. Now, for your homework in this class, please try and get all of the equipment that I mentioned. Now, if you cannot get the big spatula, get the small one. If you cannot get the big wicks, get the small one. If you cannot get big beakers, just buy small ones. They sell beakers in sets and they sell them individually. Even if it's just 2 you're going to buy, please buy them. Even if it's just your mixer you're going to buy for now, please buy them, because I need my students to have their tools ready, especially for those who are going to be in the online class. And even for those who are going to be coming one-on-one, because after we're done with the practical class, I need you to go home and go and formulate your own and bring it to me. So how would you formulate your own without having your tools? And get all your personal protective equipment. Get your scrub. If you need a scrub plug, send me a DM. Don't worry, I'm available. I will get you somebody who will sew the scrub for very affordable prices, because I've seen outrageous prices online. But don't worry, I have a plug if you're willing. I'm not forcing you, please. So if you're willing to contact my tailor to get a beautiful scrub like this, then just let me know. I'll connect you. And yes, you're going to need your isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to send you a supplier list for you to get your isopropyl alcohol, because you need to be sanitizing your environment and all that. Get your napkins, get your hair nets, even that hair nets, even if it's just 2 or 3, like, don't buy a full pack yet if you know you can't afford it. Just buy maybe 2 or 3. For the gloves, buy a couple of gloves, but make sure you're buying them in twos, so you can buy up to like 10 that you're going to use for now. And get your napkins, get your nose mask, get just, the amount that you can afford. No need for you to buy a pack yet. Alright? And get your protective goggles, everything I mentioned. And the shoes, I'm going to show you at the end of this video my full fit, so that you can get those too. Get everything that you need, please. And if you know you cannot buy it in full, please just buy the little that you can afford. Alright? That'll be all for this video. See you in your next video. And don't forget, buy all your equipment and send me the pictures of the things you've gotten. See you in your next lesson. Bye!